I was never good at sports. I wasn't good at arts. I had a miserable, bullied childhood. But if I have the courage to stand in front of you, it is only because of one thing: travel. Travel changed me. Travel gave me a voice. Good evening, everyone. My name is Balram Menon. I'm into manufacturing of industrial washing machines for hotels and hospitals. Not the most sounding business to many, but it paid my bills and gave me the freedom to travel the world. I've been to 49 countries. I've done travel shows in Safari Channel. I've shared countless memories on social media. All this didn't come with a grand plan. It all started with one single decision: to step outside my comfort zone. In business and in medicine too, once you get used to your work, life can become a tedious routine. For some, they may enjoy that stability and certainty, but for some, like me, it can become monotonous. So the best way out for me was to step outside my comfort zone, travel solo. When you travel solo, you face new situations, new cultures, and new challenges. And trust me, that gave me the confidence to adjust to any situation. I have traveled extensively in Latin America. I hardly spoke any Spanish or Portuguese, yet I made deep friendships. That's when I realized human connections doesn't always need language. It just needs a little kindness, a smile, or maybe sharing food. I always travel to the lesser known tourist destinations. That's where you meet locals, hear stories, and learn about new cultures in the most authentic form. These moments matter more than your tourist checklist. One unforgettable journey happened right after the Brazil Carnival. Carnival in Brazil is the biggest show on earth. The whole city is dancing day and night. It's an explosion of color, music, and energy. After the carnival, I had planned to visit Bolivia. So from Rio de Janeiro, I took a flight to Sao Paulo, and I boarded the flight. I got the boarding pass, and I was about to get inside the flight when suddenly a flight attendant came and told me, "Sir, you don't have the proper documents to fly." I replied very confidently that Indians have visa on arrival, but they were very adamant, and language was a problem because it was Portuguese. Because they were, and you can imagine, they offloaded me from the flight in front of the whole people. It was a very embarrassing moment. So I went to the immigration, like I went to the Brazilian immigration. So they said, you can do one thing. You can go to the Bolivian embassy in Sao Paulo. So it was a 1 hour taxi ride from all the luggage, everything. I took a taxi. Sao Paulo is one of the most dangerous cities in the world. They asked me to, I don't know, they asked me to produce a notary affidavit in Portuguese. It was mission impossible because it was not easy for me. So I decided to from Sao Paulo, I decided to go to Peru because I had a Peru visa. It was about a 5 hour journey, 5 hour flight from Sao Paulo to the capital of Peru, Lima. And from Lima, I had to take a 2 hour flight to Cusco. Cusco, that's a main hub or center for these Machu Picchu expeditions. So the moment I landed, another crisis hit. A state of emergency was declared in Peru because people had died in political unrest between the president's supporters and the local indigenous tribes. All the tourists disappeared, the place was deserted, and the hostel which I was staying, only me and one German lady. But I had no choice because I wanted to visit Bolivia badly because I had spent so much time, money, everything for this Bolivian trip. So next day morning, from my hostel, I filled everything like this visa papers, everything online. I went to the Bolivian embassy, and to my shock, my application was rejected because the application was in Spanish, and by mistake I had filled my wife's name instead of the birthplace. So from the embassy, I rushed back to the town, and nobody knew English. Only Spanish was the language. So somehow from my little Spanish, I went to a small internet cafe, and from there I redid the whole application. I went again to the embassy. When I reached the embassy, they said, "Okay, you can do one thing. You can wait for 1 hour and you can come back." So when I came back after 1 hour, to my surprise, my Bolivian visa was stamped on the passport. Now my next struggle was that since the emergency was declared in Peru, no flights flew from Peru to Bolivia. And border crossing was little risky because you know when you go for a trip and all, you research so much that you find it's a very dangerous route, like to a lot of like mafias and all, a lot of problems are creating. But I decided, I went to the local bus station. So they said, we'll do one thing, we'll take you by road to Bolivia. Okay, I said fine, because I don't have any other option. So what I did was that I had some, you know, most of these Latin American countries, when you travel, you have these credit cards and you put dollars and all. And I hid all my dollars in different pockets so that in case if I get robbed or something, I should survive. So from Cusco, by night 10:30, I took the bus to Puno. That's around 8 hours journey. So by morning 6:30 a.m., I reached Puno. Puno is the Peruvian side of the border. So when I reached the immigration, there was a long queue. It took almost like 4 hours to complete the immigration procedures. So I thought, okay, because the bus people, again, they were Spanish. They didn't tell me anything. They said, just you have to get in the bus. You have to get inside the bus and you can go to Bolivia. That's what they said. They didn't tell me one thing. Next challenge came is that it was a 6 hours boat ride. Like I have to cross the Lake Titicaca. That's in a tiny boat. And I didn't have any water, food or anything. It was like which is shown in the slide. It's a small boat. So I got into the boat. And after some time, I saw the boatman chewing leaves. Okay, I thought, what? He might be hungry or something. But later on, I found out that they were coca leaves. That was raw form of cocaine. Because that part of the world, it was legal. I also sampled little. No, because you were very hungry there. And no, this is not a joke, because when you go to these Latin American countries like Ecuador, Bolivia, Peru, you check into one hostel or a hotel. When you go to a hotel in Kochi or India, you know this, you can say this lime tea and all. What they do is that they put little leaves. They'll keep that, and you have to pour warm water and you can drink, because since many of them are into medical profession, you know, it will give you a good relief. No, I mean, because they are all high altitude places. So it's a good actually for the health, because there is a small history also behind this. Coca leaves was developed by the Incas of this Latin America. These Incas, they had like our tribal, like Ayurveda, that's a very good medicine. I'm not glorifying this thing, leave everything aside. Okay, we'll come to this thing. So finally, after 6 hours boat ride, I reached the border of Bolivia, Casani. So when the boat was about to dock, I had to jump from one boat to another boat with the luggage. Luckily, I have some photographs of that. And I have to again walk through this rocky road for about 2 kilometers. Like in one Malayalam movie you might have seen with the luggage and all, I walked like 2 kilometers. And I reached the immigration, the border immigration, because actually it was a sort of illegal crossing actually. I didn't know all those things. And I went to the immigration post. They immediately gave me the visa. They stamped my visa. So I thought everything is over. So next thing was that I had to take a minivan from this Casani to a town in Bolivia called Copacabana. From Copacabana, again, now the time was maybe about 5 o'clock in the evening. It started the previous day. So from Copacabana, I took a bus to La Paz. I thought, okay, fine, the adventure is over. So after about 3 hours journey, they said everybody has to get down, all passengers have to get down. So I got down. The thing is that there is again a river crossing. So in this river crossing, all the passengers has to get into a tiny boat, and the bus will go in a ferry. Okay. So I thought, boat, again, it's all full of boats. This boat actually literally didn't have any safety precautions, nothing. And you have to again pay some $1 also for the crossing. So it was a bit risky, but still I survived. I reached the other side of the land. And from there, the bus journey took around again 6 hours. By night 10:30, I reached the Bolivian capital of La Paz. And that's the beauty of travel. It transforms your hardest struggles in the most beautiful stories of your life. Whenever I go for a new travel, I make sure that no adventures come. But I don't know, new things come again. So another unforgettable experience happened in Galapagos Island, the famous archipelago of where Charles Darwin was inspired. The reason I went was simple. I watched a documentary in National Geographic Channel and I was very inspired by this. Like I really wanted to go to Galapagos Island and some or other how I got a chance to go to Galapagos Island. Actually, it's a place where very few Indians go. Like you find more tourists from US to Galapagos Islands. The thing is that it's a very expensive place. Like from Ecuador, it's about 1,000 miles and it's actually a 7 islands archipelago. From one island to another island, you have to travel by boat. And also another thing is that you have to take a special permission to reach Galapagos Island. And you are not supposed to take anything like food items or anything to Galapagos Island because it will disturb the ecology of the island. So they are very strict. You can see when you are boarding the flights and all sniffer dogs, and it's a very strict process. And luckily I went in the season of April, and April is the time you have this mating season of blue-footed boobies. You can see in the picture that that's a female booby. That is a male booby does a dance called foot tapping dance to attract the male booby. No, sorry, vice versa. The male booby dances to attract the female booby. So I was very lucky enough to see this magical moment. And that too in April it happened. So that was the best time to visit Galapagos Island. And Galapagos Island is actually famous for one of the oldest and the largest tortoise. You've seen in this picture tortoise. Actually, this Galapagos means tortuga. It's Spanish, it's called tortoise actually. You can find a lot of tortoise in Galapagos Island. And another funny thing is that if you go to a bird or something, this bird won't fly off because they are not used to humans. Only thing is that you have to keep a distance of 1 meter between the animals. That's a thumb rule there. So when you are not used to all these things, so it was a very fascinating experience. And also to swim with the penguins, because you have heard about penguins in Antarctica. These are penguins, like tropical penguins. So there I met an Argentinian doctor, Estefania Estorio. Friends called her Chaco because she comes from a province called El Chaco. Not our usual Kottayam Chaco. It is like everybody calls her Chaco. We went for one snorkeling, and after that we became friends. And next day she told me we'll go for cycling. So early morning when we went for a cycling to a place called Los Gemelos. It was first we have to cycle for some time, then you have to take the cycle inside the bus, then and again you have to get down from the bus, take the cycle and go for a long ride. And while coming back, the road was very steep. Suddenly I heard a cry. Chaco had fallen. Chaco means Estefania Estorio. I braked hard. Actually, I panicked. My wrist hurt badly and she also hit her head. Okay, I was lying in the road. This is all nothing to do with this photograph. Literally, I was in pain. One pickup van came. We stopped the van and they told us, they put the cycle on the back and they said they dropped us in the local government hospital. When I went to the government hospital, I was fine. I only had a sprain. Chaco was badly hurt. Actually, her head was bleeding and she lost her memory. I was really scared. I was terrified because I am in an alien land and nobody to help. And the only friend I know, she said, "Who are you?" So immediately I called my cousin doctor in India and he said, "Nothing to worry. It's a short-term memory loss." So, okay. So I was relieved. And to my luck, after 24 hours, she got back her memory. And the biggest luck is that, I'm into the social media, this thing, Instagram and all. So I had a GoPro and I had the whole thing recorded in the GoPro. Otherwise, she would not have believed because she doesn't, I think many of you might have known, she doesn't remember anything. I mean, she remembers everything just after the accident and before this thing. The whole thing she doesn't remember. I have seen all these things in films like Surya and all doing, but first time I'm seeing in real life. Now I know these are all real. So I got a lifelong friend. And just this year in February 2025, I met her in Buenos Aires, Argentina. She's now a government surgeon in Buenos Aires. So again, Argentina is part of my life. Another Argentina experience tested me in a different way. I'm a recurring kidney stone patient. Before every international trip, I go to the doctor, get my thoroughly checked. So this time, I'm not revealing the name of the hospital. I went to a doctor. You have one 6 mm stone on your left kidney and 8 mm stone on your right kidney. But you are perfectly fine. The stone is perfectly placed on the kidney. You can go and enjoy your trip. In Argentina, why I'm telling you is that in 2025, I had a trip to US, Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina, and Panama. So in that trip, from Iguazu Falls is a majestic falls in the Brazilian Argentinian border. From Iguazu Falls, it was a 2-hour flight to Buenos Aires. So by about midnight, 12 o'clock, I reached Buenos Aires. I checked into an Airbnb. By 2 a.m., disaster struck. It was not a robbery or an emergency. It was a kidney stone attack. Actually, the doctor didn't know the adventures I had in Mexico and Colombia, the horse riding, all this thing. All this dislodged the bouncing thing, dislodged the stone. And it came till I'm not telling the, so, so only thing for me to do was that I didn't know what to do because I didn't know any hospital or anything. The only companion was unbearable pain. So the only thing I could do was to drink plenty of water because these things are happening from 5th standard. So I'm very experienced than a doctor. I drank like 15 glasses of water, and in pain I slept off. By 4:30 a.m. again, and I woke up, and to my relief, the stone passed off. So I was half crying, half laughing, completely relieved. That night taught me travel isn't just about beautiful sights. It's just about resilience, problem solving, and discovering strength you didn't know you had. And now, whenever I see a horse, I don't think about freedom. I think about kidney stone. No, but trust me, I had gone for a horse riding trip. Horse riding training in Kolanjeri, and I saved 1.75 lakhs that time because the stone went that time also. So seriously, I think urologists can take this point. So if you ask me one important learning from my travels, travel pushes you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to connect, adapt, and grow. It brings strangers into your life who may become lifelong friends. And sometimes it may throw you into crazy, painful situations. But in every challenge, you find a story, a lesson, and a strong version of yourself. Among us are future doctors. You are blessed with knowledge and a career that will give you stability and opportunities. My only request, don't let life become mechanical. Do travel and explore because the world will not only show you wonders, it will make you bloom and blossom in the most unexpected manner. Thank you so much.